Wind down Tuesday. Wind down Tuesday. Feel good bounce. Head nodding. Warm party energy. Like girlfriends gathering a stitch. Laugh. Sip wine and relax. Tuesday night. You already know what time it is. Shirley's in the house. Threads ready. Wine ready. Let's go. Wind down Tuesday. Come stitch with me. Good vibes, good friends, and creativity. Wind down Tuesday. We laugh, we learn. Got the machines humming while the threads turn. Ooh, yeah. Shirley's thread work in the atmosphere. Shirley's thread work in the atmosphere. Got the hoops lined up, fabric on the table, thread shining bright, yo, we ready and able. Quilters in the chat, embroiderers too. Everybody bringing their creative moves. Somebody stitching towels, somebody making bags, somebody buying fabric they already had. We don't judge here, we just create. Pour another glass, don't be late. Beatles dancing, machines singing. Every Tuesday night, you know we bringing love, style, soul, and thread. Wind down Tuesday, come stitch with me. Wind down Tuesday. Good vibes, good friends, and creativity. Wind down Tuesday. We laugh, we learn. Got the machines humming while the threads turn. Ooh, yeah. One stitch at a time. One laugh at a time. Building something beautiful. One night at a time. Wind down. Wind down Tuesday. Wind down Tuesday. Come vibe with me. Threads, quilts, hoops, and creativity.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shirley's Thread Work, and this is Tuesday, so it has to be Wind Down Tuesday. I don't have my wine tonight, but I do have what do I have? I'm drinking Coca-Cola. That's what I'm drinking tonight. So, thank you guys for joining me. I do appreciate it. I got people in the chat. I want to give a shout out to everybody that is watching from YouTube land as well as from Facebook land, and everybody that will be watching the replay. How did you guys like that little intro? Hey, I've been playing around with my AI and the videos and all that kind of stuff. So I just thought I'd give it a little try. Oh boy, I remember back in the day when I used to dance like that, but child, I can't make them moves now. Oh, that was so funny. That was so funny. So I was cracking up in the lower corner. Yeah, I was. When I first saw it, I was cracking up. I ain't gonna tell no tale. I cracked up when I saw it. So, hi Jenny. Hi Sharon. Davenport. Let me see. Hi, Robin. Hi, Cindy. Um, who else? Who else? Kingsbury Craft. We have Becky. How are you? And Quilt for Joy has joined us. Let me see who else is in the chat. Too bad people are late. They didn't get a chance to see the intro. Hey, how you doing, Pearl? Carol, how are you? Let's see. Anybody else? Did I see the running man? Yep, you did. And Cindy said Shirley's cracking me up in the lower corner. Yeah, I was looking at that. It was funny. It was funny. I didn't realize I was on there at first, and then I saw myself on there. I said, okay. And my son is here. I don't know if he got a chance to see it or not. Maybe he did. But of course, it will be on the replay. Uh, okay, I think I called out everybody that is in the chat right now. So thank you guys for joining me. Um, I was working and working trying to come up with some type of video, and I have to tell you, uh, at this particular point, that was the best thing I could come up with. But I thought it was kind of cute and everything. And I guess hopefully you guys, okay, my son said he did not see it. So you have to watch the beginning of the replay. Anybody that came in just a tad bit late, just look at the beginning of the replay and you will see the intro, music, and dance where I'm doing the running man and a little everything else. Hi, somebody, Magnolia Rose. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. And Rebecca McGinnis. Okay, I'll probably put it on when I sign off tonight. If anybody wants to hang around that didn't see it, when I sign off tonight, I'll put it on if I don't forget. So if you guys will remember to remind me to do that, I will. And Eva Marie, how are you? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. And the song that I did put on there, I think that's the one I'm going to keep for my intro going forward. I kind of like the beat and everything. It's a lot of fun and all of that. So that will be my official intro music for now. Anyway, I don't know if I'll be on there dancing anymore. I'm going to try to come up with something a little different, but we don't know. That was a little fun, I tell you. When I first looked at it, I had to tell you, I literally cracked up when I saw it. I said, this is hilarious. It is hilarious. So, tonight I decided to have a conversation, and we're going to have a quiz tonight, so it's going to be fun to like we've done some quizzes before, and to see whether you are a quilter, an embroiderer, or somewhere in between. It's going to be an honest, fun conversation, and we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. So just wanted to make sure that you guys hang in there and participate. As always, join in the conversation, put in your questions, your answers, and all of that. Hi, Doris. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. I know we have some full-fledged quilters out here that have been quilting for a long, long time. And then we also may have people like me that really just started their quilting journey. And I have to tell you, it was kind of interesting to me. I don't know if you can see behind me. I have my quilt kind of rolled up on a one of those floaters things, the pool floaters, and I am ready to start quilting it. I got it sandwiched up and everything, so you can see it's kind of a decent size, not too bad, and I'm trying to figure that part out. I am determined that I am going to definitely do the edge to edge quilting on my 10 needle machine. I have a sampler on the machine right now with my hoop that I have. My brain is kind of fried right now. I can't even think of the name of it anymore. But you guys know what I'm talking about in my magnetic hoop. And yes, Cindy, it's my pool noodle. That's what it's on. The one that's back there. But I have a sampler on my machine that uses these magnets. And I know you guys probably have seen this. And somebody remind me what that is, because I tell you, I've been busy messing around with AI and all that kind of stuff most of the day. I grilled yesterday. That was Monday. What did I do Sunday? Don't remember exactly what I did Sunday. I think we went out. Oh, we went and bought plants and stuff. That's what we did on Sunday. Monday, that was yesterday. Grilled yesterday was Monday. Sunday, we went and got plants. Saturday, don't remember what we did. Friday, we went to the movies when I got off from work. So that's kind of a busy, busy weekend I've had. So um, and then still trying to figure out how to do this edge to edge. And I'm going to get that done. Becky, I started to call you today. I really did. I was so tempted to call you today and say, let's get on Zoom and for you to show me this quilt, this edge to edge. And I might reach out to you tomorrow night and ask you to just demo it to me because I kind of think I have it, but I'm not quite sure. But I'm determined to do that. And because of that, that lets you know right now, I'm somewhere in between, even before I take the quiz. But we're going to see what everybody else is and where you are in your quilting embroidery world. So, what I need you to do right now is put in the chat, if you don't mind, whether or not you are a main embroiderer, a mainly quilter, or both, or somewhere in between. So you have four choices: embroiderer, quilter, both, in between. Just put that in chat. Remember what you wrote, because when we take the quiz, it'll let you know whether you have whether your answers will live up to what you think you are right now. And I know, and Carol, I'm going to call you out because you are in the same boat that I was in over a year ago when I said that I was not going to ever get into quilting, didn't see where it made any sense and all of that kind of stuff. And then when I did my first little mini quilt, I kind of enjoyed it because I enjoyed the learning part. And then when I did the second one that's hanging on the wall where I was using my AccuQuilt, I really enjoyed it a lot more. And then I have to tell you, now that I have almost completed this one, the only thing I have to, well, I'm not going to say the only thing because what's left is a big part as well, where you actually have to physically do the quilting part and the binding part. But I did all my piecing and I did my sandwiching and all of that. So now the real test of time is coming up. So we we'll see how that is. And I'm looking at people that are saying both. I'm looking at people saying between, somewhere in between. I'm looking at people that are saying mainly quilter. So we got a lot of everything going on. Now, what I discovered and what you guys may discover as well, if you are quilting, and I see some people have said they're new to embroidery, which is fine. Those of us that started off embroidering and then drifting towards something else, just stop and think about it. Have you done any table runners, any mug rugs, any quilted bags or totes, any type of in the hoop project that you've actually done some stippling on or some echo quilting or anything? Think back to, and I'm going to use this as an example, Designed by Juju. And I know most of us use patterns, designs from Designed by Juju. If you stop and think about a lot of her in the hoop projects have stippling or some type of quilting part incorporated in the design. I never ever thought about it. It never crossed my mind. I didn't even look at it as being quilting, actually, because it wasn't anything extra that I had to do other than follow what the directions were, and the embroidery machine did the work. If you're doing in the hoop projects in your embroidery machine, the once you put the design in and you follow the directions, as you know, the machine automatically will do the quilting. Did you think of it as quilting? I didn't. I never thought about it as actually being quilting, but it is. So, with that being said, Those of us that swore off of quilting and said we'll never quilt, all of those kinds of things, we've actually been doing it, whether we wanted to or not, or whether we thought about it or not. The main thing is we weren't cutting things out. We weren't cutting out our pieces. We weren't putting them together with accordion seams, and we weren't matching up points and all of those things that goes into the the art of quilting. But we were doing the quilting process, the part that I have to work on now. We were doing it and enjoying it and loving the way it looks, because I have to be honest about it. For me personally, I have always loved the way quilting looks, just like I've loved the way embroidery looks. And the two of them together is spectacular. It is absolutely gorgeous when you put quilting and embroidery, or any form of embroidery, your appliques and all of that. When you put those two concepts together, you have an absolutely beautiful project that you have produced, but you haven't really separated those two arts. So we're kind of doing those kinds of things anyway. So just wanted to point that out, just in case you're like me and had not even thought about the fact that, yeah, I've been doing a little quilting for a while. Okay, the difference between embroidery thinking and quilting thinking. That's kind of how we tend to have differences in our mindset. One thing that I started noticing while learning to quilt is that embroidery and quilting use fabric. We use fabric. We just think about it differently. We use fabric to do our project. We as embroiderers, we use fabric to do our projects when we're getting ready to do it in the hoop, when we're getting ready to do um, appliques, when we're doing, embroidering on blanks of any kind, whether it's jackets or bibs or baby onesies, quilts, what heirloom quilts, blankets, any of those things. We use fabric. I have fabric that even before I started collecting fabric, because now I got a pretty decent stash. But before I started even collecting fabric, I had gathered a decent amount of fabric, mainly fat quarter, um, mainly fat quarters, because I was doing a lot of masks, as you guys know, that's kind of how I got into embroidery just before the pandemic. I got into it, and then I really got into embroidery heavily during the pandemic, starting off making masks and things like that, and then a lot of different projects and towels and blankets and shirts and all that kind of stuff. I just kind of incorporated all of that during the same time frame. But machine embroidery tends to focus on what? The design that you get. Either you get it digitized, you digitize it yourself, or you buy it online from some digitizing company off of Etsy or someplace. Then you have to think, of course, about the placement, how you're going to place it on the blank that you're using. And then, of course, you go into the stitch quality, which includes your thread, the way it's hooped, the stabilizer, the needle that you're using, the speed of your machines, all of that stuff. And then you basically ask, what am I stitching and how am I stitching and how is that going to come out and turn into a beautiful project? Whereas quilting asks, what am I building? That's a completely different mindset. Quilter thinks in layers, in blocks, in construction, in piecing, in balance, in precision, and seam allowances, and points. All of those things is what you think about when you're quilting. Of course, you think about fabric. As I said, fabric is universal to both, because you still have to match up your fabric. You want to make sure your colors are blending together, that they're not really fighting against each other. You really have to be very much on point with your color scheme, because in quilting, as you know, there's a lot of pattern type of fabric that is pieced together. And you can make or break your quilt or the beauty of your quilt if you don't know how to put colors together, whether they're contrasting or complementary or what have you. You need to know. And I talked about the color wheel a while back. I have a video, I believe, on talking about the color wheel and understanding how colors work together. And you can look at quilts and just admire the work that is done, the vibrancy of the colors and all of the different colors that are woven into a beautiful quilt is mind blowing. Oftentimes, especially if you're not good at putting prints together, you wonder who in the world would have thought about putting those colors together or those prints together, or what have you, and realize that it's going to turn out to be beautiful and that it's going to turn out to really work well. I know with the quilt that I have on hanging on the wall, I wasn't that ambitious. I only had one print, and then I had two different colors, solid colors. I didn't really do a lot of prints. My jacket hanging up, I had one pattern color and two solid colors. I was a little leery about, well, I was limited as to where I was buying the fabric, first of all, but yet and still, I was still a little leery about putting prints and stuff together. However, when I was working on my Christmas tree skirt, which is a huge difference, and it was tons of quilting in that particular project. On the one that I did, the North Pole that had all of the appliques with the little houses and stuff, I had to put prints together because Christmas fabric normally is printed, lots of different prints. And you got to figure out how is this going to work with the design that I'm doing with the roof of the house, the door of the house, the window of the house, all of those things that was part of that particular in the hoop project, and all the different colors of little bitty um, strips of fabric that I was using for applique. How are you going to put all those things together and make them work where when it's all said and done, it looks good? And that can be a challenge. It can take a long time, especially if you have a lot. And I did. I had a lot of different patterns of Christmas fabric, and pulling it out, looking at it, and putting it together and seeing, does this work? Does that work? Does this green go with that green? This blue go with that blue, and so forth and so on. And just to make it all work. So again, that was kind of falling into the realm of what quilters normally do when they're putting their pattern pieces together to piece out a beautiful quilt. Um, Embroiderers think about, can you hoop it? Will it pucker? Do I need cutaway or tearaway or water soluble? What kind of stabilizer do I need? Can I use different types of thread? What thread weight do I need to use? Understanding the thread weight. I was listening to, I believe it was earlier today, I was listening to a young lady that was giving a review on a sewing machine. And she was pointing out that this machine can do that Japanese stitches, sasiko or something like that. I can't really pronounce it, but apparently it requires you to use thick thread. And she didn't know the difference between how the numbers work, whether or not, the lower the number, the thicker the thread is, versus the opposite, which it makes sense. You think if, anyway, as you know, the lower the number, the smaller the number, the thicker the thread is. The higher the number, the thinner the thread. And she had it, yes, that's it, Robin, Sasiko. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. But yes, that's sashiko. But and I'm not that familiar with that particular type of stitching. I am aware of it, but I don't think I've ever done it before, but the understanding I have is that there's thicker thread that is used for that type of particular stitching. And she reversed it. So, point being made, understanding your threads and what it is you need and how it works for your different projects is very important. Understanding your needles and the sizing of your needles. It's the, as you know, the bigger the number, the bigger the eye of the thread of the needle is versus the bigger the number, the smaller or thinner the thread is the opposite. And it can easily throw you if you don't remember that or think about it. So we have those kinds of things in our head as well. And we have to hoop it correctly, and then we hope that it stitches out, centered the way we want it to be, and all of those kinds of things, which can be an issue. But when we're quilting, as you know, measure twice, cut once. For me, measure 3 or 4 times and cut once because I'm subject to mess it up. And you got to piece everything together. You got to make sure you have your 1/4 inch or your scant quarter, and you got to press it, not iron, press. I had to learn that. There's a huge difference when you're quilting versus embroidery. Embroidery, we can iron, no big deal. When you're quilting, you're basically supposed to press because you don't want to distort the shape of your fabric or uh, your piece that you cut out or you piece together, because that can mess up you getting all your points to match up and line up. You need to trim a lot as you go. You got to trim those blocks, trim those blocks, trim those blocks to make sure everything is going to match once you put it all together. Square it off, as they say. And then we do layering. And then, of course, which is your sandwiches. Put in your cover, which is your top, your batting, which is in the middle, and then your backing, which is on the back. And you got to sandwich that together and then send it out to get it quilted, or put it on your sewing machine and you quilt it, you free motion quilt it, or you use a guide or something and quilt it, or you put it on your embroidery machine, be it a flatbed or a multi-needle machine, and you quilt it. And then once all of that is done, again, square it off and you bind it. So the processes are different, but they're both processes that we're pretty much familiar with, regardless of which one we do, whether we embroider or whether we quilt. And so, somewhere doing all of that, we make a choice. Are we going to be embroiderers or are we going to be quilters? And for me, I'm not going to tell you exactly, but we're going to take the quiz in a little bit. But I'm going to look and see what did some of you guys said, because I saw answers being put in here. Let me see. Robin, you say you are mainly a quilter. And Rebecca McGinnis, you say you are both in between. And Eva Marie, you're saying that you're a new embroiderer. And so does that mean that you're not even thinking about quilting right now? And I don't blame you if that's true. And then Quilt for Joy, which I mean your name gives it away, but you're saying you're both. So that's interesting. And just like with Robin, she kind of gives it away with her name as well. And Cindy, she says, I say before the quiz is a wannabe, wannabe, wannabe. So I am an animal. uh, so here you go. You say, for real, I'm in between. And Jenny, you say you love In the Hoop Project. So do I. Um, Magnolia, mainly sewing and embroidery second. Okay, so you are a sewist. We are going to talk about that one day as well, because I am nowhere near a sewist. I used to sew even before I started embroidery. I would do sewing, garment sewing, some project household decor type pillows, something not too hard or difficult. I never did a poster or anything like that, but I did do pillows and blankets and stuff like that. But sewing garments, I did that starting from high school on, well, actually middle school on, and got away from it decades ago. So now I'm hoping to be able to get back into it a little bit. That's one of the reasons why I was interested in doing the jacket back there, the quilted jacket that I did with Sean for Go Savvy Design, her class that she had, because I wanted to, see if I could do it. That was the bottom line. Can I do it? Can I cut a pattern out again? Can I put sleeves together? Can I do zippers correctly? All of the things that I, knew I had done in the past. Can I do it again? And it was almost like riding a bike, but not quite. My skill level is nowhere near like it used to be. Things are a little bit more complicated. People do things a little bit differently than how I was taught, but it's interesting. But I hope to move into that direction as well one day. So maybe Magnolia will talk a little bit about sewing as well. And Becky, you say you are not a quilter. However, you like in the hoop projects and sewing projects. Okay. And Carol, you said you miss, and I do too, Joanne's fat quarter variety. I could always find just the right small amount of accent fabric. And that's where I got 90, I would say at least 95% of my fat quarters from was Joanne, because it was so simple and easy to run up to Joanne and grab a bundle, a bunch of them, different colors, different designs, or what have you, especially when she would have them on, when they would have them on sale and stuff like that. You just grab them. I know at one time it was got 10 for uh 10 for $12 or whatever it was. They weren't that expensive. And even with Walmart had the 99 cents, and not 99 cents anymore, but the 99 cent plain fat quarters, and I think it was $1 and a 50 cent, $1.30 or whatever for your patterned fat quarters, and you could match them up and everything. And that's pretty much what I would do. I would get a solid and a print, match it up for a mask or something, make it really cute, go with different outfits and stuff. So that was really cool. Miss Joanne, I tell you. And Cindy said I would have to look for that video on the color wheel. I struggle with fabric choices. Yes, I did a live, so it's going to be in the live session where we did talk about the color wheel and everything. And it's been last year, I believe, or year before last. It was before I moved from Maryland, so it would be in 24, 25. Yeah, 24, early 25 maybe. And Cindy, you say your all-time favorite is making baby quilts. Jenny, you say you are in between, both in between with the quilting and the embroidery. And Carol, I know, will appreciate quilting from far, far away. I ain't mad at you. I ain't gonna tell. I'm not mad at you. I understand 100%. It is not for everybody, because I have to tell you, it can be daunting just from my experience, which again I am a total novice. I don't really know what I'm doing pretty much. Um, a little bit, but not enough to even say I'm a quilter. I have not adopted that title because I haven't done enough to have earned the title. Um, my biggest challenge, my biggest um, in I don't want to say my biggest issue, I guess, with quilting is making sure I cut the pieces out correctly. And with the AccuQuilt, that has helped a lot. But there are a couple of quilts that I'm interested in doing that I know I'm going to have to actually do some cutting with a rotary cutter, and I'm a little nervous about it because I don't want to mess it up. And then actually doing the quilting. Now, if I'm just doing straight line quilting, making my own blocks, doing my own marking on my fabric, and then following that with my sewing machine, obviously that's not an issue, but that gets to be boring. I have yet to even attempted to try free motion quilting. Don't think I'm going to do that at all because I don't know if I can use the templates I haven't even tried it. And I know as far as my own guidance, that's going to be a hot mess. Don't want to do that. And then until I actually figure out how to do the end to end quilting on my 10 needle machine, that's a challenge. Now, I think I'm about ready to do it. I've been looking at videos and all of that kind of stuff, trying to understand. I put it on today and I tried. I don't even know what I did. Well, I won't even go there. I got stuck. Put it that way. I got stuck, so I stopped. I think I know what I didn't do correctly. Um, But anyway, if I ever get to the point where I can do block quilting or end to end quilting or edge to edge quilting on my 10 needle machine, then I'm going to be okay as far as quilting. Then get back to the other part that I know I don't like, and that's binding. I don't like binding because binding is time consuming if you do it by hand. And I did do one by hand. I don't think I'm going to do it by hand again because that is not my thing. Um, but yeah, it's a challenge, and for people that do that day in and day out, day in and day out, I don't know how they do that. I will never, and I can stand up to this one. I will never move away from embroidery because I've learned. I have my comfort level there, and I'm still learning. But you can do a project, and the project may take a minute to get it done, but it doesn't still doesn't take as long to do as it does quilting. Quilting requires a lot of patience. That's how I see it. Um, Let me see. And Pearl, you say you love it, but you just got into quilting, so you're just like me. And Cindy, you say you love the challenge. And hey, Linda, how are you? Linda's Trendy Thread. Thank you for stopping by. Do, 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 do. And Quilt for Joy. You say that I struggle with putting colors together. The thing that helps me the most is looking at quilts that others have made. I'm learning how to choose fabric from viewing quilts. Okay. And Pearl, you say, so yay, just did a series on the false things that have been said, told about quilts. And I think I saw some of that. And Robin. Right now, I'm struggling with the free motion quilting on your SE 1900 because the quilt size doesn't let me move it easily through the machine, but I'm still trying my best. Yeah, that can be challenging. Yeah, I can see where that could be challenging. Very much so. But you do an excellent job. Eva Marie, embroidering is addicted. Uh 3 1/5 machines in. What's a 1/5? Oh, 3.5. Okay. All right. What's a half a machine? And Pearl, you say a magnetic hoop might make it easier, Robin. I am finishing one now on my single needle, and the magnetic hoop helps. Yes. The one thing that I know The SE 1900, which is what I have as well. That's the only size flat needle embroidery machine that I have is the SE 1900, and the largest hoop is a 5x7, which, as we all know, is not that large. So I can understand what you're saying. Um, it just dawned on me. I looked at a video that uh, Becky Thompson from Power Tools and Thread did about end to end or edge to edge quilting. And she was showing an example using a machine using a 5x7 hoop. And she stitched out the design. Like if you buy or you have an end-to-end design, and she actually stitched it out on stabilizer. Now it just dawned on me, if you get some of that tracing paper that she talked about, or a tracing some kind of paper where you can actually trace it out, the design, and then draw it on your fabric. And I know that's a lot of work and time consuming, especially when you're doing a large um, quilt. But you can try to follow that with your machine, then that might help. I don't know. It just popped in my head as a way of doing it. Because I know for me, if I try to do free motion, um, that's not going to turn out well. We had that conversation last week about being left-handed, and my left hand is not going to allow me to move it the way it needs to be moved. I already know that because my dexterity is awful, always has been. And Deborah, hi Deborah, how you doing? Thanks for dropping by. You enjoy quilting, embroidery, and garment making, but mainly do quilting. Can't get enough of those half square triangles. And I agree with that as well for you because I know I've seen your work and it is absolutely awesome. And I definitely want to do a half square triangle quilt like you've done because it is so pretty. That black and white one you did just took me. It is just absolutely gorgeous. Uh, Eva Marie, quilting, sewing, embroidery was my first machine. Hmm. And Cindy, of course, what you're saying, the throat size of your machine does make a big difference. And again, unfortunately, the SE 1900 machine is not really a true quilting machine because the throat plate is not that large. I don't know what it is. I would venture to say 6 or 7 inches, maybe. I don't know. I never measured it and I don't remember, but I know it's not that large. Trust me, that's what I did the Christmas tree skirt on, and it was a challenge trying to even put the Christmas tree skirt together with 15 parts on there. It was a challenge, definite challenge. Linda, Trendy Threads. You do embroidery, quilting, and sew kids' clothes. As for binding a quilt, I love to hand bind them. Okay, good. I don't. Too much time. Robin, it sure does, Cindy, but I'm working with exactly. It does make a difference, and it is difficult. I agree with that. Um, and so I thought you were doing in the hoop quilting. Uh, I don't think Robin is doing in the hoop quilting on her SE 1900. I don't think, but it can be done. If you guys remember that video I just did with that hoop, the magnetic hoop, that the sash hoop is what I couldn't remember a few minutes ago. The sash hoop that you can get from brother, that you have these kinds of magnets on it. I have the sash hoop. Mine is what is it, 8x14 or something like that. Well, that one that I showed you the other day, and I don't have it handy. I don't think I thought of it. Yeah, I do. I can see it. It's a replica of this pretty much. It's almost the exact same. And this one, and see the magnets, they look so similar to these. This comes with my sash hoop for my brother PR10, and this is the sash hoop for the Sew Tech 5x7. This can help a lot with the SE1900 because this one is for the SE1900. This is what I got to do my demo with, and it works well. And it's a magnetic hoop. Dime does have magnetic hoops that can go with your flatbed. I'm assuming, I don't know because I don't have a dime hoop at all. Um, I'm assuming they have one for SE 1900s, 5x7, but a magnetic hoop, period, will help with your um, quilting on your flatbed machine, regardless of what brand that you're going to use. It is definitely going to help. It's going to make it a lot easier to do. So, some of the terminology for quilting. I'm going to ask a quick question for those of us that are migrating from. Let me see what Becky said. Becky said from Indian quilting much easier with a magnetic hoop. Yes, it is. It is much easier. Um, and Eva Marie, you're saying that that machine has three functions. Then I got the brother 630 sewing and embroidery and lost my mind embroidery. I am just not understanding embroidery and designs. And yeah, it takes a minute. It takes a minute. You can do if you have a combo machine, you can, of course, do your sewing, you can do your quilting, and you can do your embroidery. Um, if you have any type of, where you can do it with one machine, you can do quilting on a sewing machine. As you know, you can do your free motion quilting, you can do your straight line quilting, all of that stuff on a regular sewing machine. And of course, if you have a flatbed embroidery machine, then you can do your quilting and your embroidery. So your machine, definitely whatever machine you have, and the larger hoop that you have available, the better off you are, especially if you're going to try to do some kind of quilting. Hey Joyce, hi. Thank you for stopping by. So with that being said, those of us, including me, if you ever think about upgrading your flatbed embroidery machine, get the largest hoop you can afford. For me at the time, I did 5x7. Now I'm in the market. Now I'm not going to say I'm in the market, but I'm definitely desiring a larger hoop for my flatbed embroidery machine because, as you all know, I like to make big designs. I like to do that. And I know it would be easier for me to do my end to end or my edge to edge quilting if I had a larger um, flatbed embroidery machine versus even the 10 needle machine because you can maneuver that quilt a lot better. On your 10 needle machine, the throat, the space behind your plaiting is so small that depending upon how large a hoop your quilt is, you're going to have to do a lot of rolling up and moving and maneuvering. And at some point, you're going to have to take it off and turn it around. That's why it's recommended that that's one of the reasons why it's recommended that you start in the middle of your quilt and you do one half, turn around, do the other half, because you can't go all the way through. It's not going to fit. And there are other reasons as well to make sure that it does smoothly all the way out. But yeah, you'll end up having to do that. And I guess you do the same thing with the flatbed as well. But the thing is, you got more room to move. You have as much room as you need that your room that you are stitching in your table allows. And they even have that apparatus, Dime has it, that you can hook your quilt up on it and everything and get it up off the floor and off the table, off your shoulder and all of that to make it a lot easier in order for you to quilt. So we pretty much know what all of these terms are. So I'm not really going to discuss them or anything. I did learn the difference between a fat quarter, a jelly roll, a layer cake, and a charm pack when I first started quilting because I had no clue what any of those things were. I do remember going into Joann and seeing these things, but I did not know what they were called, nor did I really know what they were for. I didn't put it together that these are quilting pre-cut pieces. Now I know what they are, so I feel like I've learned. Chain piecing, nesting seams, ditch stitching the ditch, free motion, sandwiching, squaring blocks, and binding. Those are terminologies that I learned when I took that class with Fat Quarter Shop, I believe is, and whomever asked me about that last week or week before last. I hope you looked into it if you're really seriously interested in it, because that's where I learned so much. The little leader piece of fabric that they recommend that you use when you're doing your chain piecing, all of those kinds of things. How to cut, basically just how to cut your fat quarter squares, your what is it, triangle squares. Um, can't even remember it. Deborah, what did you call it? Because that's your favorite thing to do. Da 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 da. Your half half square triangles. Half square triangles. Yes, they taught us how to do the half square triangles and the flying geese and all of those different other terminologies that I don't even remember anymore. But all of those things were being taught in that particular series, which is very good to learn. And even Marie, you're saying that terminology is very important, which is very important even when you're doing embroidery. Any type of craft that you may be involved in has its own terminology. And it's important to learn that terminology or jargon or however you want to call it so you can understand what it is that you're doing, and you'll be able to understand the information that is being presented to you when you're watching YouTube and different people doing tutorials. And you can pretty much tell the ones that really know what they're doing when they use the terminology. But if they're using terminology, especially if they're doing beginner courses, they really need to explain as they go what those words mean, because it doesn't do you any good to hear a word and you don't know what the heck they're talking about. It doesn't do you any good. You can spit out the jargon. That's just like being in the medical field, which I am. If I don't understand medical terminology, it sounds like Greek. And if you speak to anybody that's in the medical field, like a doctor, usually the doctor doesn't tone down their rhetoric where it is plain English. That's oftentimes left up to a nurse to come back in there after the doctor leaves out to tell you what he was trying to explain to you, because he's so used to using medical terminology that he doesn't remember that he's speaking to quote unquote lay people, and lay people are non-medical people, and he speaks Greek basically to the ear of the non-medical person when he's using big words when they mean something very basic and simple. That's the same thing about sewing. That's the same thing about knitting, crocheting, embroidery, quilting, scrapbooking, any type of crafting that you do has its own terminology. So it's important to know what they are. And even Marie, you're saying that quilting and sewing language kind of go hand in hand because they both require sewing. So that makes sense. Mm-mm. Cindy, breaking it up in sections. I have a flat bed and I start in the center and go down. I roll up both sides except that row. Then I fold my rolls, kind of like a flag. And I do have a great amount of countertop. Okay, so that does help when space is important. The bottom line is space, especially when you're doing a quilt and when you're doing a pretty sizable quilt. The one that I have on the pool noodle right now is the largest quilt that I've ever done. And I have 9, and I don't want to even say 12 and a half squares because they're 12 and a half blocks or 12 by 12 blocks, but I have sashing as well in between them and on top. So all the way around, they have sashing. So they've grown by 2 times whatever, 9 going each way. So I think when I measured it out, and I got to measure it again so I can mark it and everything, I think it's 50 inches by 47 inches or something like that. And that's the largest quilt that I've ever done. Um, but I did the 12 and a half square blocks, which made it a lot easier to do. One of the blocks, though, however, had 20 pieces. I blew my own mind when I realized I had selected one that had 20 pieces. Each one had it was 20 pieces in each block. I was like, I had lost my mind with all that. It was more work than what I wanted to do, but it wasn't that bad. Okay, I am going to go ahead and ask you the questions about the quiz. The quiz questions, rather. And let's see where we fall. So everybody get ready. If you're ready, say I'm ready. You don't have to say I'm ready. I'm just going to go through these questions and you can give, I think they're just two, A or B. So just put either an A or a B. Don't put both. Put an A or B, even though you may fall between the two, pick one, A or B. Um, well, now I'll take that back. Erase that. You can do an A and a B if it really is truly you. I prefer that we choose one or the other, but if it's truly you, A and B, you can put A and B in there because the question is, are you an embroiderer, a quilter, or somewhere in between? So if you're somewhere in between, then you're going to have more than one, you're going to choose more than one answer, and there's only two, A or B. Hi, Sean. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. So the first question is, when you buy fabric, your first thought is A, what can I embroider on this? Or B, what can I piece together with this? That's question number one. A is what can I embroider on this? And B is what can I piece together when you first buy fabric? I'm gonna take this to take the test myself. Okay. Number two. So put your there you go. Put your answers in. Number two question. Your favorite tool is probably a hoop, or B, a rotary cutter. A or B? A is hoop, B is rotary color. I don't think that's a very good question, but anyway. So I want to make sure we're not going to get these questions mixed up. So let me go back. I know I saw, there you go, Robin. You put number 2. Thank you. I was just going to say, let me know what question you're answering. If you see how Robin did it, do what Robin's doing. Question number 1, question number 2, and so forth and so on. So if you need to go back and correct it or fix it or whatever, do that. And if you're saying both, that's fine, because I know we still need to have whether it's question 1 or question 2, if you don't mind. Okay, great. So this is going to be question number 3. I don't want to get ahead of anybody, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to get your question 1 and 2 together, just in case you had to go back and number it. There we go. Okay. Question number 3. What stresses you out more? A, puckering. B, crooked seams. Now, my interpretation of crooked seams would be it's not a 1/4 inch. So, what stresses you out more? A, puckering, and this is question number 3, or B, crooked seams? And we do have a total of 10 questions. So, question number 3, what stresses you out more, puckering or crooked seams? Okay. Now, question number 4. You probably own more. A, stabilizer. B, fabric bundles. Question number 4. You probably own more. A, stabilizer. B, fabric or fabric bundles. That's question number 4. Okay. Now keep up with your answers too, so you can tally them up. I'll be trying to tally them as well, but we'll see. Question number 5. Question number 5. You spend more money on A, thread, or B, fabric. Which one do you spend more money on? Don't take into consideration that one may cost more than the other. Think about the amount more so than the dollar amount. That way we can come up with a much accurate answer, because we do know that thread, well, thread ain't cheap either, but fabric can be a lot more expensive. So to make this a fair answer, think about the amount versus the cost. So 5 would be you spend more money on thread, which is number A, or B, fabric, which is number um, A is thread, B is fabric. So which one do you spend? Which one do you buy the most? Okay, Quilt for Joy, catch up because we're on question number 6 now. I don't know if you're answering or correcting. Okay, question number 6. You trust more A, good hooping, or B, accurate cutting? Question number 6. You trust more your good hooping or accurate cutting? Which one do you trust the most? This is question number 6. Okay, Doris. Quilt for Joy said, does that include AccuQuilt? Excuse me. However you want it. Now, I'm answering the question too, and I excluded for me AccuQuilt. So it's however you want to do it. But for me, I excluded my cutting with my AccuQuilt. I'm looking at me doing my own cutting. If that answers your question, Quilt for Joy. And Doris, you have just a letter. You don't have the number. So if you can go back and correct that on we're at question number 6. I mean question number 6, which is A, good hooping, or B, accurate cutting. So I don't know if you're answering A for number 6 or not. If you are, can you put a 6 on that? Just want to make sure that uh, you can count that. But if you're keeping up with your own count, then that's fine. That's fine. Question number 7. Question number 7 is, huh? 7, you got 6B. Question number 7, Robin. You got 6 and you got 7 and 6 and you got B. I haven't asked question number 7 yet. But anyway, question number 7 is your biggest crafting fear is A, thread breaks halfway through a design, or B, points not lining up. Your biggest crafting fear is A, thread breaks halfway through a design, or B, points not lining up. What is your biggest crafting fear between embroidery and quilting? A, thread breaks halfway through a design, or B, points not lining up. That's number 7. Okay, we're getting ready for number 8. Getting ready for number 8. Number 8. Which sentence sounds more like you? A. I wonder if I can embroider on that. And number B. I wonder if I can make that quilt. Which one is the sentence that sounds more like you? I wonder if I can embroider on that. Or B. I wonder if I can make that quilt. That's question number 8. Which sentence sounds more like you? I know which one sounds more like me. Okay, we're getting ready for question number 9. And I'm going to ask you guys, I hope you kept up with your numbers because we have so many in here. I don't think I can go through everybody's and count them. So you're going to have to count your own. So when we get to the end, we're getting ready to do number 9. Number 9. Question number 9. What sounds more relaxing? Watching an embroidery machine. Watching an embroidery machine stitch. Carol said if it doesn't move, you can embroider on it. Okay. What sounds more relaxing? A. Watching an embroidery machine stitch. Or B. Sewing quilt blocks together. Which one is more relaxing? Watching your embroidery machine stitch or sewing quilt blocks together? That's number 9. We got one more to go. One more to go. And I don't even know where I fall. I got to count mine. Okay, ready for the last one. Question number 10. What would you rather organize? Thread combs or fabric stash? Which one would you rather organize? Don't say neither one. That's not an answer. Thread combs or fabric stash? Which one would you rather organize? A is thread combs and B is fabric stash. This is question number 10. And then when you guys get done with that, then you can give me more thumbs up. I got 25 people in here. It needs to be at least 25 thumbs up if you guys don't mind. At least. And I give you a few minutes to. Robert said, hey, it's easier. Now, get all of your questions and count them up and see how many A's and how many B's you have. And whichever one is has the most will identify you whether or not you are an embroiderer or a quilter. And it's 10 questions, so you have to have 10 answers. Let me see, I'm going to count mine right quick. All righty. So, even Marie says she's an embroiderer. You got 9 A's? Oh my. 1B and 9 A's. You are definitely an embroiderer. Cindy, you have 7 B's, 2 A's, and one both. So you are a quilter. And Robin, you have 1 A, 7 B's, and two both. So you still have more B's. You are a quilter. And Pearl, again, 3 A's, 7 B's. We got all these quilters in here. We got quilters. And okay, Sean. I don't think that's your. I don't think you got your number in here yet. Your tally, rather. Okay. I know where I am. I'll tell you guys where I am. Okay, Deborah, 2 A's and 8 B's. You are a quilter. Jenny, you have 7 B's, 2 A's, and two. Wait a minute now. You got 7 B's, two. One more 10 questions. You got 11 answers on here. 7 B's and 2 A's, two both. So you still had more B's than you had A's, even though you have some both. So you are considered a quilter. That's interesting. Interesting. Quilt for Joy, 7 A's and 3 B's. I'm a quilter. No, A's are embroiderers. That's interesting. A's mean you're an embroiderer. B's mean you're a quilter. So, Quilt for Joy, is that a surprise to you? For me, I am, I had 6 A's and 4 B's, but one of mine was both. But I still end up being an A, so I am considered an embroiderer, but somewhere in between, since I was almost half and half, to be honest, about 5 and 5. And Sean, you say, okay, 4 boths, 3 A's, and 3 B's. Okay. So you're six, what are you, 3 A's and 3 B's and 4 boths. You in between. And Quilt for Joy said, I mean 7 B's. Okay, there you go. So you are a quilter. There you go. There you go. I am an embroiderer, but leaning towards quilting because I'm almost half and half. I had 6 A's and 4 B's, but one of mine was both, so that would literally be 5 and 5 if you look at it that way. So that's half and half. So that's kind of where I'm teetering, which is one of the reasons why I decided to do this particular talk tonight, because I am finding out, and I don't want to say I'm a quilter yet, even though I've been doing some quilting and I'm enjoying it. I still don't want to say I'm a quilter yet, but I am enjoying learning how to quilt. Now, how long that's going to last, I don't know, but it's quite interesting to me. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have more quilters than we have embroiderers, which I'm finding to be very interesting. And Cindy, you said, I think the 10 A's was Sean's last answer. See, she, she hadn't tallied it up yet. That's why she went back and tallied it up. And she is showing, Cindy, she is showing that she's got four both 3 A's and 3 B's, which will give you a total of 10. So actually she's both, because that would mean she's 5 and 5, to be honest about it. If you look at it that way. You give her 2 A's and 2 B's, she would be, yeah, she would be both. She would be both. Joyce, you say you have 1 A. Bless your heart. So you are a quilter as well. And Sean says, I do love both. Okay, so that's where you fall. So I love is a strong word for me, so I'm not going to use the word I love both. But what I am going to say is that my interest in quilting is peaking, which is a surprise to me. And maybe because that's the last thing that I've been working on here lately, and I'm becoming more and more interested in it. And I find myself looking at more and more videos about quilting, and hadn't picked up so much on embroidery. Maybe because I'm looking for new and challenging things in embroidery that I haven't run across videos on, um, that piques my interest, which reminds me to remind you guys that I will be going. Just wanted to remind you guys, I will be going to the Everything Embroidery Marketing Expo in Biloxi, Mississippi in October. I am going to the Original Sewing and Quilting Expo in Overland Park, Kansas in August, and that's not too far from where I live, so I'll be going there. So I'm trying to get more involved in going to some of these expos and what have you. And I intend to take classes at all of both of them, because my desire is to learn more techniques, see what's new and improved and interesting and what have you. And I'm hoping at some point, if I'm lucky, next year to go to an impression expo somewhere. I don't know if it'll be California, New Jersey, Dallas. They have them in several different places, but I do hope to be able to go to at least one somewhere, because that's where you see all the latest and greatest technology that's out there, what's the newest machines and things like that. Not that I'm in the market to be buying all those things, because I'm not. Because one, I don't have the room. Two, I don't have the money. Three, I don't even think I can figure out in my head how to use all that stuff. But I do like to know what's out there. And what's out there, it allows me to tell you guys what's out there. Also, it helps with being creative to do the things that you're going to be doing with what you already have. Some of the things. And Rebecca says Dallas. I'm not going to the one in Dallas because it's coming up too soon. Can't do that. Next year maybe. Dallas would be fun because quite a few of you guys in Texas, so that would be fun. Um, so let's see. And Quilt for Joy is saying that I've noticed embroidery YouTubers taking on quilting projects. The quilting bug is alive and well. Yes, it is. It is definitely alive and well. And Joy said, no, that was a mistake. I dabble in all things crafty. Okay. Okay. So you're not a quilter. You're a crafter. Is that what you're saying? And Sean, Cindy is saying, Sean, your quilted jacket is amazing. You should enter it in a national show. It is absolutely gorgeous. It really is. Pearl, you say you don't consider yourself a quilter, but walking into quilting. Yes. And newly, is that a newly gam? Like gamma? Anyway, I do and I love both. And how are you? I don't think I've met you before, but thank you for stopping by or at least dropping in and putting a comment in here. And Evelyn Warner, how you doing? Thank you for dropping by. Two good ones. I'm assuming you're talking about the expos. I'm assuming. And Carol says, get into digitizing and that will keep you busy. I got to do some this weekend. That's good. I stay busy. Although I do intend to take, when I go to the EEM expo in Biloxi, I've already signed up for a class with Lisa Shaw, and she's going to be doing stitch artist, embroidery and stitch artist, I believe 1, 2, and 3, which I do have. So I will be dabbling a little bit in that. Will I learn it well enough to do it? I don't know. I'm not going to say yay and nay on that one. We shall see. We shall see. And Evelyn said, impression is really good. Yes, I have seen YouTube videos of basically all of the different expos and stuff. I kind of watch them to see what's going on, who's there, that kind of stuff to pique my interest and stuff to see if they're really worth it. I even have been looking at a few of them for the EEM. It's a little not as impressive, I think, as some of the other ones because I don't think it probably has the money backing. I don't know, just from what I've seen from older videos, nothing recent, but some of the older ones. But I still want to go because it is specifically geared towards embroidery. And even though it will be machines there and blanks there and all of that kind of stuff, it's pretty much like all the rest of them, but more classes and stuff, I believe, that deal directly with the embroidery industry. And that's what interests me the most because the other ones are, more geared towards quilting and quilting products, and you can get fat quarters and all and charm packs and all that kind of stuff, all up and down the aisles and stuff. Everybody's there selling their wares and stuff. But I didn't find a lot of embroidery machines, and I didn't find a lot of embroidery people as much as I did with the quilting industry in those other expos that I went to because they were quilting shows. And Cindy said, may I ask, what is your subject that you are digitizing? Okay. And Cindy says she embroiders on many of her quilts. I embroider on quilts as well, not quilts that I've done, but quilts as well. That's why I said at the very beginning that even though we are, or some of us are, truly embroiderers, we have definitely been involved in quilting because if we're doing any kinds of projects, especially in the hoop type things, we're doing a lot of quilting as it is. You just probably didn't put two and two together. We're not doing uh, uh, and Sean says, what? I go to the Impression, Graphics Pro, Original Sewing, and more each year. Yeah, I know you're all over the place. You're all over the place, but rightfully so because you're involved in a lot of that kind of stuff and you have to keep up with it. And Evelyn said, Biloxi, name of the show. Biloxi is where it is, Biloxi, Mississippi. That is down on the coast, about an hour away from New Orleans, in the great state of Mississippi. That is where it's going to be in October. They also go to Is it Nashville? Somewhere in Tennessee, but that one has already passed, and the next one coming up is in Biloxi, Mississippi, and the name of the show is Everything Embroidery Marketing, EEM. Everything Embroidery Marketing. I got an email out the Wild Blue Sky a few years back, 2 3 years back, as a invitation to register. That's when I first heard about it, and I was interested in it, but I did not go. And so I always kept that in the back of my mind, and that I would, if it came up again. So I purposely looked it up this time and found out when they were going to have it, when the registration and all that kind of stuff. So I've already registered, I've already selected my classes, all that kind of stuff. So I'm hooked up and ready to go. And my husband agreed to go with me. So that's what we're going to be doing in October. And I know there's a few of the people that come on here that are planning on going as well. So hopefully it'll be more. Some of the people that are in the New Orleans area, which is close for them, because like I said, it's about an hour away from New Orleans. And I grew up in Mississippi. And interesting enough, I never went to Biloxi. I've been down Vicksburg area, Jackson area. Uh, Never went to Biloxi or Gulfport, but it would be interesting just to go because it's a beautiful place. It's on the beach. It's a tourist attraction area down there, and yeah, I'm hoping to enjoy it and get some knowledge. I have selected several. They have a lot of classes that I was interested in taking. The only problem with that, just like most of them are, they're they piggyback on each other. 2 or 3 classes you're interested in are at the same time, so you can't be there. You can't be everywhere, so you have to pick the one that you're most interested in. So that's kind of the issue with that. With the original sewing and quilting expo, the one that's going to be in Overland Park, Kansas, which is what 20 minutes away from me. So like I said, it's no big deal for me to go to that one, which I'm very glad. Um, their registration has opened, and I've been looking at it. I haven't registered yet because I'm trying to figure out what classes I'm going to take. There's a few of them that, I mean, they go way late at night. And I was like, wait a minute, hold up. I'm not spending the night because it's 20 minutes away. I can just go back and forth, but I don't night drive. And there's a couple of them I want at night. And I'm like, how am I going to figure out how to do this? Because I'm going by myself. But anyway, we shall see. We shall see. So let me see, what else do I want to tell you about being a quilter or an embroiderer, and some of the things that that we're alike. As we can see, we're taking a test. We are alike. A lot of us are both. A lot of us are um, quilters, and some of us are more on the embroidery side. And Sean, you say you go every year. And Evelyn said, Impression California is the first show of the season. Every year, all the big guns pull out all the stops at the show. Yeah, that's the one that they have in January. So it starts the year off, and yeah, it seems like it is the biggest one. And Sean, she goes to Impression, like she said, graphite and original sewing. Yeah. So I know they have the Impression in California in January. I believe they have the one in, is that New Jersey, in March, around March or so. I think the one in Dallas is going to be in August. I think something along that line. I don't remember. But I get the impression um, magazine. And so I kind of keep up with some of the ins and outs and stuff that's going on. But like I said, I like keeping up with stuff like that because I like to know the latest and greatest and what's happening. And I love it when the people that do go. Oh, Sean said the one in Dallas is in October. Okay, good. When I do go to those that do go to the shows, I love it when they take the videos, go around, talk to the vendors and things like that, because that does help the viewers, their viewers out, which I am one of them, when you can kind of get an idea of what's happening at the show and some of the stuff that is new and some of the stuff that is could be beneficial to your own business or your hobby or whatever it is that you do. Sean says the impression registration just opened up in Dallas and it's in October. Yeah. Okay. Anybody that's interested in going to that one, I won't be going to that one because I really wanted to go to one that is strictly what I do. And then the impression will come later. I look at those machines and I am so fascinated. I am so in awe. I cannot believe some of the technology that is out there that can make what we do for fun, our business, even easier, better, unique, all of that. That's what impresses me. I love that. And Sean says she is releasing a demo video in the morning from her H&H visit that she did in Chicago a few weeks ago. And I have seen two or three different videos from people that went to H&H, and lots of people were there. It was very informative. Got a chance to see some things that, you know, I don't see regularly. So that was interesting. And of course, Sean did a wonderful job at the H&H for all of us. I watched every single video she made. Yeah, she was out there and she was busy and she was looking at all the people and getting all the discounts and everything like that for us. And Evelyn says she's looking forward to seeing it, and so am I. And Cindy says so is she as well. So we will be looking for that when you put it up, Sean, so we can see all of the stuff. And I did see your video as well, Sean, that you did where you were looking, showing us all the things that you brought home. Every time you go out, you have to get an extra suitcase so you can bring back all your goodies and stuff, which is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Now, everybody that um, started off embroidering and now you do quilting as well. What what made you think about doing embroidery? What was the catalyst that came about that made you decide that you wanted to try? I said embroidery, I meant quilting. Those of us that mainly did embroidery, what was the catalyst that made you decide you wanted to do quilting? Drop a little note in the chat. I know what it was for me, but I'm just curious what made other people do that. And Sean says she's donating the new suitcases to a girl's home. That's so nice of you. You just have to go out and buy some more though. And you said the discounts are on the way. Super excited. That's good, and that's so sweet of you to do that, that Sean, because it is something that is. Why can't I show that? So Sean says she's donating the new suitcases to a girl's home. Good, good. And then she'll go to another show and she'll buy another suitcase and she'll fill that up and bring it home. I'm thinking, I was looking at a video from the EEM show from I think 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't know, well, I do know some of the people that are going to be there for the classes. I don't know all the vendors that are going to be there, but I am anticipating the fact that I may need to get a new suitcase, or better still, don't pack the ones that I take so full so I can put stuff in it, because I already know that I will be getting stuff, bringing it back. I already know that. I don't even have to think about it. You always have to wonder what you're going to get. Some of the things you may have to ship back, depending upon what it is. I don't know, but we shall see. That's something that always happens. We talked about going to these expos and retreats and cruises and stuff a few weeks back as well, and we all know that there are shopping sprees, and you have to be careful and plan and budget, because if not, you can overspend. So I like to try to figure out who's going to be there, what booths that I want to actually go to and spend time at. Of course, I'll walk around and look at different stuff, but have a plan as to what it is that you're looking for, with the hopes that you'll find it. And so that's going to be my goal. And that way, hopefully, you don't overspend, because that can definitely happen. And Cindy asked Sean, "Do you have Amazon deliver new suitcase to your hotel room each show?" Okay. Now, Sean answered my question. I started quilting because I wanted to make a memory quilt for my niece. Okay. That was a good thing. And Sean is answering Cindy, saying that would be a smart thing to do, but I go to one of the outlets or discount store. Yeah, yeah, save some money, run on by, pick up a suitcase and grab it, because you already know you're gonna have to do that. Uh, and Evelyn says she tries designs. The stitching is mesmerizing. Uh, Now, only one person answered that I can see what got them started with quilting. So, what got you started with quilting? If you started off as an embroiderer and now you do quilting as well, what got you started? For me, I think I've told you guys this, but for me, I got started. My first quilt I made because it was one of the challenges that the Social Society crew, my Wednesday night Zoom group, decided as a group that we were going to make a mini quilt of some kind. Some people did wall hanging, some people did table runners, and some people, including myself, did mini quilts or lap quilts. So that's what got me started. Not that I had a desire to do it, it was just that, okay, if this is what the group decided to do, then I'm going to bite the bullet and go ahead and do it, because as you guys know, I was not even thinking about quilting anything. But when I took that mini series showing with Fat Quarter Shop, going through step by step, the lady is a very good instructor. The videos are very explanatory. She shows you everything. She reminds me of Becky Thompson of Power Tools and Thread. She teaches you like a teacher would teach a student. She goes from how to turn your machine on, basically, step by step by step by step by step. If you can't get it by watching her, then you may not get it because she goes through it very well. And the fact that it is a video and it is a series, I think it's at least 9 or 10 videos, and they're free. That's what impressed me. They're free, they're available, and they're good. And I don't even know how I discovered it. I really don't. Somebody must have told me about it, I'm thinking. But uh, I went on Fat Quarter Shop. I ordered the kit and I got it and I followed it. And I'm very grateful that I did because that opened up my eyes of what quilting really is and what it's about and how it really can be um, fun. And it is kind of where Sean is saying it makes you want to make a keepsake because, as I mentioned last week, my goal is to make at least 3 quilts, not counting the ones I've done, but and I got to make sure that I start working on those instead of just doing quilts. I want to be more, you know, mindful what it is I'm making. So if the quilt that I make can be one of the ones that I intend to give to my kids, that's my goal. Let me see. John said, Carol said I got tricked into quilting. Kind of, sort of. You're right. I did. I got tricked into it because I had said I wasn't going to do it. And I couldn't say no after the group said, yeah, that's what they were going to do. I think they may have decided to do that on purpose. I don't know. But yeah, they kept trying to trick me into that T-shirt quilt, but I haven't done that. Mm-mm. And I don't have any T-shirts to quilt, so that keeps me out of that running. And Cindy says her first quilt, Guild quilt, was 40 years ago. Okay. Uh, 40 Years of Fabulous by Eleanor Burns. I highly recommend the book. It's a sampler quilt. I ended up making 5 quilts. Okay. Okay. And Gilcook, 40 Years of Fabulous by Eleanor Burns. I'm assuming that is the name of the book. 40 Years of Fabulous by Eleanor Burns. If anybody's interested in it, get that book and look it up. Quilt for Joy. You said I got hooked on embroidery because I wanted a new sewing machine and the one I bought came with an embroidery module. I knew nothing about it when I bought it and I thought I would never use it, but obviously you did. And now you're not disappointed that you did that. And therefore you said it was meant to be. I agree. And Cindy said it was only about 5 or 6 years ago. Okay. Yeah. How long? 3 years, 2 years, 2 years. I guess it's been 2 years now, going on 2 years. Hi, Leslie. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. I had an official board meeting, yeah, but listening, but came in on the tail end of the quiz. That's okay. No big deal. You can always watch it later. No big deal. That's understandable. Understandable. Yeah. Quilting can be something that, like I've been saying throughout this thing, we all kind of do a little quilting, have done it, not just quilt blocks and stuff. Somebody got into it for a memory quilt. That was Sean. Uh, Quilt labels, quilted bags. I've done that. We did a quilt as you go tote bag um, a while back. That the social society crew did that. That was also a quilted challenge. So, and I've done some table runners and placemats. The more I think about it, the more quilting I've actually done that I really haven't thought about the fact that it was actually quilting. That's interesting to me because I never really thought about it at all. But yes, we do a lot of quilting. Um, Pearl says, I actually got interested in quilting years back and bought everything, books and supplies, but never started it because my late husband got sick and I was a caregiver, so I just started getting back into it. Yeah. And Leslie says she'll have to watch the replay. Yes. Yes, and sorry about your husband, Pearl. Yeah, you've gotten back into you. Have you made any type of memory quilt or anything? Wall hanging, table runner type situation. There are so many things that you can do. Leslie says she showed off her t-shirt quilt. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I think you showed it on here once. I don't remember what show it was. One of our show and tells, I think it was, but which one? It may have been the ones where we did the quilting project. Yeah. So if you guys look back on my lives, I have tons of them. You can probably see Leslie t-shirt quilt because it is absolutely stunning. She said it took her a few years to get it completed, and I can believe it because it is really pretty. It's really pretty. And Cindy, you say I am wrong in my memory. My first quilt was a bunch of Kimberbell projects that I kind of modified into blocks, stitched it all together. My thought was, how many pillows can one person have? You know what, Cindy, I'm glad you brought that up because I had totally forgotten about the Kimberbell bench pillow that I did. I That's also a quilting project, and I somebody got uh, commented when I did the ruler um, live a few weeks back, and I mentioned the pop orange rulers that I got, and someone mentioned that those were for embroidery, which I, I'm not disputing because I don't know if it's specifically embroidery or quilting. What I do know is that when I purchased the the orange pop rulers, it was recommended by Kimberbell for that particular project, so we could cut our blocks out that we were going to be quilting. So in my mind, it can and is and has been used for quilting as well. So I'm pretty sure you can do either one. Matter of fact, I know you can do either one. And I also looked into, I haven't purchased them yet, but I looked into their squares and rectangular um, orange pops because the ones I have is rectangular and they have the square. I looked into that, haven't purchased it, but I'm thinking about it. Don't know if I will or not. But I did just order their what is those things? Those blue tiles. Yeah, those blue tile TILE um for my edge to edge. Don't know if I need it or whatever, but I ordered it. I think it may help with my marking because I know I got to do all the marking and placement and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to figure out a way to take care of this process that I got going on here with getting that particular quilt done. Sean, I may have you come over on our Zoom because it's some of us on here. Some of us have done the edge to edge, and some of us have not. And I'm being one of them. And yes, Sean, the clear blue tiles is yes, that's exactly what I just ordered. They haven't come yet, and I've looked at some of the videos pertaining to that, and I know that it can be helpful. So I'm trying to get this edge to edge situation taken care of. And Quill for Joyce, I love the blue tiles. They're a game changer. Okay, all right. And Sean says, let me know. I will definitely let you know. And she says she's happy to help. So when I get with the group tomorrow night, I'll find out when they want you to pop in, and You if you read if you are available tomorrow night, you can pop in and tell the truth about it. Um, Pop in, pop out. Don't have to stay. I know you're a busy lady, but you certainly can pop in and give us some quilting advice and stuff. We had talked about that once before, just never moved on with it. But I know we are working on the quilt project right now. And I know as far as I'm concerned, I'm struggling and I want to go ahead and get this taken care of. Yeah. I want to get this taken care of and get mark it off my book so we can move on to the next project. And I'm determined that I'm going to quilt that quilt on my 10 needle machine. I don't want to do it on my sewing machine. And so Sean, she can't do it tomorrow night. That's fine. We'll do it another time. I know last minute it's hard to do, but we'll come up with a time and I'll shoot you a email or a text and we can find out what's going to work for you and get that taken care of. Get that taken care of and get the help that we need. And Cindy, do you tell what this So Special Wednesday is all about? Okay, well, it's not a special. Every Wednesday night, we've been doing this since, I think this is year 3, I believe it is. I'm pretty sure this is year 3 that, and it's open to anybody that wants to come with us. And if you can fit into our personalities, it's fine. But every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, we get together on Zoom and we laugh, we talk, we share, we help, and we work on projects. We work on a project. Nobody has to do the exact same project, but the theme has to be the same. Like we started off when we all discovered on my live, we were just chit chatting, and it was a whole bunch of us that had bought the Design by Juju Christmas skirt design, and nobody had stitched it out yet. So we said, why don't we get together as a group and work together and get it stitched out? And that's what we did. That's how it started. And we did that. And we worked as a group every Wednesday night via Zoom, and we did it. And we've been going strong ever since. We get together, we decide on a project, and the whole premise is to find something challenging to do so we can increase our embroidery skills. And we've done numerous projects, and then we'll set a time limit as to when we're going to start and when we have to finish it. We give ourselves several weeks because we know we have other things in life to do. So we come up with a decision. We give ourselves several weeks to finish the project. And once we all finish the project, then I present it to the live audience. Most of us will get on here live and show what they've done. Some of us aren't able to get on live, and then they send me pictures of it, and I'll show what we've all done. So the project that we're currently working on now is a quilted project, be it a runner, a wall hanging, or a quilt of some kind, but it all has to be quilted. And the theme is the 250th anniversary of the USA. So our end date is the middle of June, so it's coming up. We only have a couple of weeks to finish it. Whereas I got to get this quilted. I'm there. We'll present it and show it. And then we've already come up with our next project. We agreed that our next project that will be starting in July after the 4th will be a quilted jacket like the one I have in the back. The group decided they wanted to do this as a project. We bought our designs from Sean, and we'll get started on that. So that's kind of what we do. If you're interested in it, the only thing you have to do is uh, let me know you're interested in it. Text me. I always put my email address up. You text me, and then we correspond via text. You get the password and the code to come into our Zoom, and you're part of the group as long as you want to be a part of the group. Nobody, I mean, we don't give any kind of rules and regulations where you have to show up, so many times or everything. We do start at 8 and we stay late, put it that way. We start at 8, we stay late. We stay as long as we decide to stay. Some people will stay until everybody leaves. Some people comes late and leave, whatever. But that's how we work. It's and we, like I said, we've been doing it for at least 3 years now, and we've definitely developed camaraderie, friendship, and a lot of fun. And we chit chat and we talk, and we don't talk politics, we don't talk religion, we don't talk any of those kinds of things. Everybody is mindful and respectful of each other. We just talk business. And when I say business, it is crafting stuff. We're basically talking about crafting stuff, whether it's embroidery, quilting, sublimation, rhinestone, foundation piecing now, whatever it is, equipment, designs, all of that. We just share. We share and we love it. And it's about 11 or 12 of us total that come consistently, and we've had people come and leave and so forth, come back, what have you. But that's what we do on Wednesday night. And like I said, we've been doing this, I think, at least 3 years now. And several of the people that come on my Tuesday night every night. You guys hear me tell, okay, I'll see you tomorrow night, blah blah blah, stuff like that. Leslie, Robin, Becky, Deborah, Jenny, and those are the ones that I know. Joyce, there's several that come. Marina, um, yeah, Taisha, whole bunch of people come, and that's what we do. So, not being nosy, I have talked about it. I've talked about it several times, off and on. And if people are interested in it, like I said, just let me know that you're interested in it, and then we can go from there. And Evelyn said, I'm interested in paper piecing. I think it's called that foundation paper piecing. I don't teach anybody anything, put it that way. And I don't know how to paper piece. I have bought a couple of foundation paper piecing projects, but I have yet to get to them. I've watched one video. Um, I intend to learn, but that's in between doing other stuff. If you want to, what we do, we help people, we help each other. I put it that way. We help each other. We all have our skill set. Some we got a lot of quilters. People that can quilt on a dime. They can throw that thing together and move on. Where I'm struggling, we have people that Taisha's been embroidering for 30, 40 years. She's our go-to guru when it comes down to embroidery. She can give us ideas and techniques and tricks and tips and all that kind of stuff. Um, Everybody has some type of skill. Robin has been quilting over 18 years, so she can tell us how to do certain things. And she's fantastic because she does all of her quilting and everything on her small SE 1900 machine, which astonishes me because when she's done, it is absolutely gorgeous. So, we all have our skills. Joyce has taught sewing. So, we can ask her questions. Everybody has something to give, everybody has something to learn. And that's what makes our groups work, because we all participate and we all share and work together. Um, Quilt for Joyce at AcryQuilt has a whole set of English paper piecing dies, and they're nice. Now, I understand there's a difference between English paper piecing and foundation paper piecing. I haven't even picked up on foundation paper piecing, so I'm not even going to address the English paper piecing yet. I don't know a lot about it. And Quilt for Joy says it sounds like fun what we do, I'm assuming, and it is. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. Now, the one thing that I do want to point out, if anybody is interested, we don't have a structure. We did not want to make this a stressful situation for people. Everything is voluntary. Everything is come when you can, do what you want to type situation. Therefore, there's no stress on anybody. If you come, you come. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. We hope that everybody participate and does the projects as they are agreed upon. That's where the fun comes because we want to learn and share what we learn. And it's amazing the work that we tend to get done. Now, we may meet up and it looks like we're not doing a darn thing but chit chatting and talking. But the thing is, we're learning. We may have done work before we got there. We may do work after we leave, and then we may do work while we're there. But the goal is to have your project done and completed on the day that we say, so we can do the presentation. So as long as everybody does that, then you cool. Because that was the agreement that we were going to do this project, we were going to finish it by this date, and we're going to present it on this date, and then whatever happens in between happens. So that's kind of how we flow. So I just wanted to make that clear because I think sometimes people come and it may not be structured enough for them, and they don't stay or whatever, but that's fine. It once you join, you're always, as far as I'm concerned, part of the group, and you can always come back because I know sometimes life gets in the way, and some people have left for over a year and they've come back. Some people leave for weeks and come back. Some people leave for months and come back, which is perfectly acceptable. We don't care. Um, And Cindy says, I would like to join. I will have to find your info to text you. I will put it up in a minute. And it's a nice format for a group learning and sharing. Yeah, that's what we see it as, learning and sharing. Okay. Learning and sharing. Why? Okay, I just put my email in. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I just put my email in here. Do, 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 do. So if you're interested in it, you can text me or email me. Well, email me, um, and then we can go from there. Because that way, I'll get back with you, get your email address, and send you the passcode. And we start 8 p.m. Eastern time. So depending upon where you live, just adjust your time frame. Because we have people all the way out in California. We have people New York, East Coast, people down in Texas, people where else? Philly, Carolinas. So you don't have to be, Midwest or East or West or North or South. We're all over. When you come into the group, you'll find out it's people all over, and we just kind of hang out. Okay, Quilt for Joy and Evelyn. No problem. And thank you guys. It's getting late. Thank you guys for watching. Also, make sure you give me thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. It's very important. Not only the thumbs up, I need you to subscribe if you have not subscribed. Hit the notification bell and comments. When you um, um, put comments in my YouTube channel, that helps the channel to grow. Not only my live, but my YouTube channel as well. Um, I do not see it. It is here. It's see where it says host. It's in here. It's in blue. It should show up in blue. So I just put it in the chat. Cindy is in the chat. So hopefully you will find it. Let me know if you got it. Yeah, and Robin says she's saying good night. Hope to see new faces tomorrow night. That would be great. So, Cindy, check and see if you got it yet, because I did put it in there. Let me do it again just in case. So I just put it in there again, Cindy. So you should have it. You should have it. Okay, I am going to say good night to everybody. I'm going to show my intro uh, little video that I put up before I came on. For those of you that did not see it when I first came on, uh, stay or stick around and watch it. It's going to be hilarious, I tell you. So, is it highlighted yellow? I do see it. I did not know that was you. Okay, well, on my end it is blue, but it probably is yellow. So yes, that is me. Okay, so I'm gonna say good night to everybody. Thank you for stopping by. Don't forget me, give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. And here is my intro. Let me see if I can get it. Where is it? Oh, did it go away? No, 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 no. I can't get it to come up again. Oh well, it for some reason it's not coming up. But I'm gonna go ahead and end tonight, and I will see you guys next week. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, unfortunately, just watch the beginning of the replay and you'll see it. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. You know me, I gotta go work tomorrow. Talk to you later. I thought I was gonna be able to play this, but I can't get it to go for some reason. Why can't I get it to go? Hmm. That is weird.